From the moment a massive billet of raw, high-strength steel is lowered onto a dusty pallet, the journey begins. Sunbeams cut through the hazy air of the industrial hall as the crane chains rattle and settle. The steel, still cold and oxidized, waits silently as though aware of the transformation it's about to undergo. The first cut is always deliberate. A heavy bandsaw blade grinds slowly into the billet, coolant splashing like milk against the steel surface. Gray filings fall like sand, collecting at the base as the raw cylinder becomes a series of measured lengths. Each cut piece moves to a new station where a robotic arm welcomes it with mechanical precision, gripping the bar and inserting it into the orange glow of an induction heater. The air shimmers with heat as the metal turns molten red, its internal structure shifting under the intensity. When the steel is ready, a pneumatic hammer strikes with rhythmic force, flattening imperfections and straightening the glowing bar. Sparks leap like fireflies. Black scale flakes scatter across the anvil, cracking under each impact. As the metal cools, steam rises in gentle waves, its first breath after leaving the fire. The bars are stacked into crates, condensation rolling off their still warm surfaces. Next comes the deep hole drilling, a defining moment for each future barrel. Technicians slide the long blank into a towering machine. Oil pools on the floor reflect the fluorescent lights overhead. The carbide drill makes first contact with a sharp scream. High-pressure oil jets out in a violent spray as spiraled chips twist downwards, glowing faint blue from heat. Eventually, the drill breaks through the far end, a burst of mist erupting like a final exhale. Inspection follows. A flashlight beam enters the newborn tunnel of steel, revealing perfect concentric reflections. Crane hooks lift clusters of blanks onward to honing, where abrasive stones churn rhythmically, polishing the interior into a mirrored chamber smooth enough to guide supersonic force. In another bay, heavy hydraulic equipment prepares for rifling. A carbide button engraved with microscopic grooves is pushed through the barrel by immense pressure. The steel yields just enough, forming the lands and spirals that will later twist a projectile with mechanical certainty. The inner pattern glistens like a metallic helix of light. The exterior is shaped next. CNC lathes spin the long tubes, peeling away ribbons of steel until the profile is precise. Threads form at the breech end, each golden chip curling away under white light. 7 barrels, uniform and silent, wait on a rack for their hardening ritual. They are lowered vertically into molten salt, an inferno of yellow fumes, and then hauled into an oil quench that erupts into fire. Smoke rolls upward as the steel screams through the transition, blackened and hardened. Each barrel undergoes a final grinding bath that strips away the residue and reveals clean silver beneath. Serial numbers are engraved with laser precision, sparks dancing like fireflies. Meanwhile, the heart of the weapon takes shape elsewhere. A massive block of aircraft-grade aluminum is clamped into a 5-axis mill. The face mill spins at blinding speed, carving away layers in a storm of silver chips. Coolant mist clouds the air as the solid block slowly becomes a hollow, skeletal structure, light yet unforgiving. Tiny cutters carve internal channels for hydraulic fluid, shaping the nervous system of the machine. Small steel bolt carriers form on Swiss lathes, tiny masterpieces of geometry. Workers inspect them under magnifying glasses, then drop them into vibrating tumblers filled with ceramic stones until every edge is smooth. Nearby, a forged steel disc for the mid-barrel clamp is drilled in a perfect 7-point constellation. Surface treatments follow. Aluminum housings descend into chemical baths. emerging matte and hardened. Steel barrels plunge into phosphate tanks, coming out in deep, non-reflective black. Layers of grease, precisely applied, prepare the moving parts for their future violence. Assembly begins. A heavy steel fixture waits as the rotor housing is lowered into place. Technicians insert the 7 bolt carriers, each sliding into greased tracks with a satisfying click. Needle bearings settle into their seats. A rear cover plate clamps down with 12 torqued bolts. The barrels arrive on a rolling cart, ghost-like in their black finish. One by one, they're inserted into the rotor's mouth, twisted, locked. The cluster forms, a dark crown of precision. The mid-barrel clamp slides down with friction, tapped into place with a rubber mallet. Hydraulic pistons are polished to a mirror sheen. The motor block is assembled, tested, and tuned until its whine shakes the gauges on the bench. A recoil cradle is welded under bright arcs of blue light, the welds cooling in shimmering hues of gold and purple. Giant springs slot into place, heavy and tense. Finally, the entire gun assembly is hoisted and lowered into its cradle, bolts and safety wires securing it with mechanical finality. The ammunition system grows beside it, an aluminum drum shaped by flow-forming, steaming from friction. Its interior becomes a spiraling chamber lined with composite helixes. Stainless steel feed chutes form link by link, snapping together into metallic snakes that glide smoothly when flexed. Gearboxes, drive shafts, and grease sprockets all merge into a single feeding organism. The entire ammunition system unfurls across the shop floor like a mechanical dragon. Barrels, drum, chutes, and chassis aligned as one looming machine. Dummy rounds enter first for testing, sliding through tunnels and settling into partitions. Then paint covers the drum and chutes in military gray. Masking tape is peeled away to reveal crisp edges. Safety wire twists over bolts like metallic stitches. A data plate is riveted onto the housing. A final wipe leaves the steel gleaming, oiled and ready. Electrical connectors click into place. Now the weapon sits upright, dormant but dangerous, awaiting its trial. Live rounds enter the chute with heavy clunks. The operator stands behind blast glass, the barrel stretching forward. With a mechanical sigh, the hydraulic motor engages. The barrels spin, accelerating from a slow rotation into a blur. Dust shakes loose from the mount. The first bolt chambers around. A muzzle flash erupts, white, violent, overwhelming. Then the signature roar bursts forth, a rolling, monstrous growl as 30mm shells fire in a solid stream. Flame pours from the nose, brass casings cascade downward, smoke blooms around the machine. When the firing stops, the wind strips the smoke away instantly, leaving only heat shimmer. The gun cools, crackling softly. It is clean, inspected, sealed, crated, and shipped. At an air base, hangar doors open as sunlight washes over concrete. An A-10 waits, its nose open, avionics exposed, the titanium armor gleaming under halogen lamps. Yellow support gear rolls forward. The gun is lifted beneath the aircraft and raised into its waiting cavity. Mounting pins slide through steel. Cotter pins bend into place. Hydraulic lines connect. Electrical harnesses lock. The ammunition drum is installed deep inside the fuselage. Feed chutes snaking through ribs and bulkheads until they meet the feeder mechanism. Nose panels are reattached, leaving the 7 barrels peering out like a metallic snout. The Dragon loader arrives. Thousands of rounds stream into the aircraft, spiraling into the drum. When loading is complete, the aircraft settles under the weight. A safety streamer is pulled. The pilot checks the barrels, runs a hand along the cold clamp, then climbs the ladder. Switches flip, engines start. The A-10 taxis, lifts off, banks left, sunlight glinting off the gun that now sits perfectly aligned along the nose. In flight, the HUD glows green, purge doors open, air rushes past, then the gun fires. The barrels vanish into a spinning disc. Shock waves ripple the air. Dust erupts from the ground target moments before sound reaches it. The cockpit shakes violently, gauges blurring as the vortex of recoil challenges the aircraft itself. The firing ceases, smoke clears instantly. The plane returns, landing, coasting, cooling. Ground crew inspects the scorched muzzle, blackened with carbon. A bore brush enters the barrel, the cycle beginning anew. Later, under night floodlights, condensation forms on the resting metal. The stamped letters Guy-U 8A stand quietly, a reminder of the machine's purpose and legacy. And when the hangar lights shut off one by one, only a single red beacon pulses in the darkness, watching over the slumbering beast until it's called again.
Bring her down slow. Watch the cradle alignment.
Aligning now. Okay, clear to lock the clamps.